Hi everyone, it's Be Divine and welcome to our big reading. Now, this is about the full moon eclipse, okay? And that it's time to release negativity because it's a full moon in Scorpio. This is a connection with the solar eclipse that we just had a couple of weeks ago on the 30th of April. And this is what a season is: a culmination of the solar eclipse new moon, the lunar eclipse full moon, and all of there's about 6 months that we're focusing on this eclipse energy. So anything can happen. Now today I'm going to be taking us through some different cards. I also have some Kipper cards, okay, that we will go through as well. I have Lenormand. I have some astrology cards that I'm going to use to show us what's coming for each of the signs because of this moon. I have some tarot, of course, Nostradamus. We're going to have a look and see how this continues. But for the most part, I wanted you to just relax, okay? I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this recording for, but I kind of like to be able to just sit like this and do these readings. Okay, so we know that it's a full moon. We know it's a full moon in Scorpio, and we know that it's an eclipse. What does all of this mean? Okay, so we're going to work it out. Firstly, the full moon being in Scorpio. And it's talking about time to release negativity. Sometimes it can indicate that we're feeling paranoid, we're acting strange, and stop worrying. It's really a negative habit, right? The worst habit of all in our spiritual journey is our overthinking, our worrying. It will block you faster than anything from having your channels open. It'll stop it. It'll block you. It's like a safety mechanism. You know, it's like having the safety on, right? And nothing will happen until you take the safety off. So it's time to release anyone unkind, anyone negative, anyone using you, anyone who is not giving or on the same wavelength as you. You know, it's just time to really take a good look. And if there's a relationship situation going on and you're breaking up or you're having fights, you know, you need to see that from a bigger perspective and tell yourself, do I really want to be spending my life arguing my point or trying to make somebody understand me or just do things for me if they don't really want to? I don't know how many people think that because they're so nice and because they're so kind and because they're so hot and so pretty and so gorgeous or sexy or handsome or whatever, that people are just going to treat you well. It doesn't matter, you know, what you look like. And as I've told you all before, I've worked with models and actors, all kinds of people, and they have relationship issues. They have things where people are cheating on them, right? They have people who are not faithful to them or beat them up, or, you know, and it's worse because it's high society. It's everybody knows about it. Everybody's talking about it. People take sides of people. Do you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter. Like, if you might be the hottest thing since sliced bread, and you can't use that as a way to think to yourself, oh, people won't dare treat me wrong because I'm so nice and I'm so sweet and I'm so kind. Sorry, those are the types of people that get railroaded. So you have to strengthen here, right? And this just goes along the board. Like, even in a decent relationship, you know, you've both got to be individuals that are able to do your thing. The difference might be that you don't really want to be far apart from your person. You know, that's the difference. You know, in my past, I couldn't wait to get away, right? So there's some things with the Scorpio. If you're a moon sign, rising sign, Scorpio, you got to be careful about energy with Scorpio. Scorpio is very sexual, very mysterious, very secretive, very healing, very psychic. However, the downside is there can be a nastiness. There can be a jealousy or a cutting off point that can happen. And that's just, it's not that a person's nasty, it's that they start overthinking. This is what I'm talking about. Now it's time to move from living fearfully to living joyfully. Grudges can be toxic, so it's time to let something go here. It also talks about the end of an argument. So the full moon in Scorpio has a sting in its tail, okay? We know this. If you're a Scorpio, you know you've got a temper. You know that if you let loose with that temper, it can be pretty, it can be pretty tough. So it's also a time when we want to be good, but we can be naughty. So this is also showing the shadow side of yourself. The full moon in Scorpio is a time of magic. If you're thinking of making magic, this is your sign to do it. Okay, use it. Use your magic. Now, with the Scorpio full moon, it's an eclipse. Okay, so this talks about conclusions being at right within your reach. It's happening, and it's happening very quickly. So depending on where you live, the full moon eclipse is the 15th of May or the 16th. So it's going to be later at night on the 15th, all right, or early hours of the morning. So let's take a look at this one. The full moon eclipse. So just like that, a door slams shut. It's suggesting that things that you're asking about is going to reach a peak. And things are now out of your hands. Okay? Whatever you've put a stop to, you've got to let it go. The events are unfolding. Be easy on yourself. If you're letting go of someone or something, know that it's the right time. Forgiving someone for what they did could also be key to resolving this situation in a positive way. It doesn't make right what they did, but it releases it so that you can move on. That which is meant for you will not pass you by. That's your attunement to the moon. Doors which slam shut now will not reopen. It's time for you to get back on track. Forgiveness will set you free of karma. Meditation, yoga nidra are all recommended. Seed control and let events unfold. So full moons are nearly always about climaxes and very often also about conclusions, because we know the full moon is the ending, the new moon is the beginning. So full moon eclipses are the same, but on steroids. A full moon eclipse can be hard to handle because it portends change, something many of us are uncomfortable with. But change is a part of life, and this card or this energy, no matter when it comes up, reminds you of that. So full moon eclipses also give us a glimpse into what Carl Jung called the shadow self. Work with your darkness, work with your trigger points. Let this crap go, I'm telling you. When you start to change your attitude towards your life, and you start to change the words that you use for your life, instead of it being a subconscious, oh God, I'm going to do this, but nothing's really going to happen, or yeah, I've tried to be positive, but nothing occurs. If you keep saying that to yourself, that's all you will ever see. So you have to change the doubts that you have, the fears that you have, the worries that you have in the back of your mind, and say, that's not my reality anymore. It's not the reality I live in anymore. I'm so lucky. Things are easy. People come forward and the right person appears and it's perfect. Instead of, yeah, well, what if they come and then it's still the same old story and I'm still going through all this stress and pain, and they're still going to cheat on me, and yeah, well, all men and women are jerks, you know. A lot of people have those attitudes, and this is what the time to release the negativity. Look at your own self. Look at your own life and be honest with yourself. You don't have to tell me, you don't have to tell anybody, and say, what is the constant narrative that I have? You know, do I believe everything's going to be okay, or do I subconsciously block my manifestations by expecting the worst? So this full moon is going to be interesting, okay? We're releasing a lot of things. The new moon eclipse, solar eclipse energy was Taurus. So a lot of that has to do with our resources and our finances. So what are we letting go of, negatively speaking, with regards to our finances? And what are we letting go of in a negative sense with regards to how we see ourselves and our life? I hope you'll all be at my Destiny Code webinar that I'm giving on the 26th of May. I will be live on YouTube for it. This will also help to activate a new energy focus into your life as well. Just know that anyone around you right now that is constantly negative, constantly needy, constantly drama filled, constantly knows more than you, or you know, likes to tell you where you've gone wrong all the time, or you know, wants to tune into your energy when you haven't given permission for that to happen, and is constantly dragging on you, get rid of them. They're not your true friends. They aren't. You know? Okay. You know, because otherwise what ends up taking place is when you do find good people in your life, you're not going to believe that they're actually going to be truly who they say they are. You're going to find fault somewhere. And I don't know how many times people have done that in my own life, where all of a sudden I'm in trouble and I'm like, huh? What the hell are you talking about? And it's because they're there in their own mind. Oh, she means that. She means this when she says that. It must be about me. Oh my God, get over yourself. So, you know, people second guess all the time. It's just ridiculous. Okay, so I also have a new, well, it's not a new deck, but it is a runes, sort of a deck here. And we're going to have a look at the astrology reading cards right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get your sign out real quick. I'm going to try to do this as quickly as I can because 12 signs is a lot. Okay. So what we're doing here is we want to see how this moon's affecting you, okay? Depending on what sign you are. And one day when I can be bothered, I will I'll try to fast forward all these shufflings, but people tell me not to. Don't do it. So sometimes it's better to leave well enough alone. Okay, everyone. So what we're going to do here is, okay, so I'm just going to start with, it doesn't matter. We're just going to start with Gemini. Okay. Remember, we've got Mercury retrograde in Gemini as well. So what we do is we just tell ourselves how easy things are going to be, right? Things are easy. It's easy. It's easy. I'm trying to give us some light that is not going to be circles on the page. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay. Any other time the light is just shining in the window and, you know, right on my face. Okay. Also make sure you have some selenite. Okay, you need selenite when it's a full moon. I've got it all around me, of course. And, well, you just need selenite because it's high vibrational. All right, Gemini. So this is how the moon is affecting you. So either a planet or a house card is going to come up here for you. I'll explain. So this is what's affected for you. just doing it like this, okay? Let's look this. We're not charting your actual chart here, okay? This is giving you a message from the astrology cards. So the 6th house, which is about work, health, and the duty area of your life, okay? So your fitness, all that sort of thing. So this is what's going to affect Gemini. The area of your life is the realm of work, duty, and service, okay? It also includes health and matters to do with wellness and fitness. It also concerns how we care for our bodies with regard to regular medical matters, routine health appointments, etc. You may have concerns about your health and decide to take up diet or nutritional supplements, right? So it's a universal energy that affects you right now. The area of your life is work and what must be done, the working environment or fellow workers. So this is the things that is on your mind for this particular full moon. So it is talking about worry as well. And if you are worried, then you should know that part of your personality as a Gemini is the overthinking side and worrisome side, nervous anxiety side. But at the same time, you're able to flip this and use it to your advantage as well. So you can get nervous, but maybe you don't show it, right, as well. So something to do with work and paying extra attention to your health, to your state of mind, to your duty area of your life, taking it easy, not overdoing things right now, is a quick message for you for this full moon, Gemini. Okay, so the next one we're doing is Pisces. Pisces energy is wistful, endlessly loving, compassionate, forgiving, confuses and softens resolve. So what's a quick message for Pisces for this full moon? Oh, perfect. Neptune. Okay, so Pisces and Neptune are connected. So your fantasies, your yearnings, your longings, and potential for illusion. Okay, so we're looking at the planet now associated with you. Now this is all about water as well, right? Obviously, look at this, Neptune. So it's a part of you that believes in magic, fairy tales, etc. It's the part of you that has dreams and longings and yearning for things and wishing for things, right? It's a wonderful experience. You're dreamy and you can meditate and you can visualize. So it's very loving energy. It's very poignant energy. It's harmonious energy. So sometimes the Neptune may be talking about meeting someone who fulfills all of the things that you've been dreaming about as well. It's a really good idea, like anything to do with water is highlighted. So swimming, going near a lake, just being near an ocean of a body of water is really good. But right now your strength, you may not have much stamina. It's not really a good idea to start marathon training right now, just in case you might have been. But also make sure, because there's deceptive energy with Neptune and there's deceptive energy with Scorpio, make sure that you're not being taken down the garden path by somebody. If something feels too good to be true, okay, and your body's screaming at you saying, no, 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 listen to this as well. So don't be making big, important decisions right now. I also feel for Pisces that there's been a big change with regards to your emotions, like you're working on them a little bit differently. And you are determined to succeed, and you will see this. Just don't, make sure you're grounding yourself. Don't stay too long in the world of fantasy. Oops, we got the 9th house come out here. And the 5th house, okay? So then Leo's next. So how's this moon affecting Leo? Oh, it's affecting you in the home, Leo. So the 4th house is the home and the roots of your entire being, okay? Whenever we look at the 4th house, it usually is connected with Cancer, but this is a quick message about what's going on because of this moon. Sometimes it can involve a parent or child, your home, or your roots. You could be considering moving house, and some of you might. You may not even know how that's happening right now. You could be considering this or making some comfortable improvements. Maybe the house or the domestic matters are an issue. You're focused on the family that you live with. So this could also be describing an inner you or who you are when you shut the door against the world, right? So it's a very personal and private energy for Leo. This is all about you, this particular moon, meaning your immediate environment and your house and what you want to do. Sometimes this can also talk about memories and deep hidden feelings that have something to do with the past. Maybe you're having a lot of that come up. Maybe you're reminiscing. Maybe a parent is involved, or maybe your parents are important to you. Or maybe having a home or a home of your own is very important. So something around the people that you live and your home are moving into a more harmonious and beautiful energy, and also a more productive energy. But seems like there's a lot of love in the household or in your immediate environment, and it's got to do with the attitudes. And, you know, our house is ourself, right? So how do we feel about ourself? Is that changing? Because if so, you are going to see this in your outside life. Okay, you're going to see this change. Absolutely. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Right. So that was for Leo. And then here's Cancer right afterwards. What's happening for Cancer? We know Cancer are lovey, lovey, lovey. But we're moving Cancer into an overwhelming transformation too. Okay. So the 12th house is an absolute transformational area of your life. It could be love, it could be compassion, it could be spiritual transcendence or other outside forces that put you in a place where you feel a little uncertain. So traditionally, this area of your life is known for removing your will because something much bigger and more forceful takes over. So it's like you can't seem to do anything right now, and you shouldn't try because something is transforming. You know, it's like knocking on the door doesn't open, you go to the window, nobody's there, you go around the back, nobody's there, you just keep on going, like you're desperate to get inside, and all of the signs are telling you to stop, you know, and pull back. And this is what the message for Cancer is. You might be pushing a little bit too hard to get some kind of result, and that's the thing that's stopping the result from coming. So it might be wise to put off some serious decisions right now, as you may not be seeing all the facts. There's something that still needs to come to the surface for you. So it's a very, very highly charged time for Cancer. And there are some things that are beyond your control, okay? There are just some situations that you are not going to have all of the answers for, but you need to allow this transformational part of your life to keep going. It's like we start the ball rolling and then we're like, okay, I've had enough now. I'm ready for everything to start. And this is saying stop doing that to yourself, because you're blocking the next most magnificent part from being allowed to be in your existence. And I actually do astrology readings for you as well. So don't forget that in not too far away, you won't be able to access my work unless you're in the academy. So take it up while you can. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be in this kind of, I mean, I still do readings like this, but doing all the readings and work myself, I'm just trying to teach you guys how to do it, is what I'm doing. All right, Capricorn. And I will be doing teaching courses on oracles and tarot. You'll have to keep an eye out. Become a member at the Teachable Academy. And what will happen is that you will get updates when I'm doing things. Okay, Capricorn. Oh boy, you're moving into your destiny. So this is what the moon is doing for you, is bringing you into your purpose and your destiny. I really hope you're going to be at my destiny code, Capricorn. So the sun is very, very positive. The sun is pushing energy into your life, right? You also may be connected with someone who is a sun sign as well. And the planet cards actually describe parts of your personality involved in this full moon. And this is the one thing that describes the essential you, your purpose, your character, your consciousness. The sun is the ruler of your whole life, your individual identity. These are things that are being challenged right now with the moon, or allowing you to have more of a focus of. So this energy is important, for it's the focus of your whole life on this plane. But it's also the spirit part of you that lives on into eternity. This is something represented here that you consider to be your whole life, a career or your reason for living. But it's also your connection to the life force of the cosmos, right? This is guiding you. You are going to be very, very guided into your destiny, Capricorn, if that's what you want. Because of this moon, the sun is going to light the way forward. Wow. Virgo, what are you doing with this full moon? Okay, Virgo, you're focused on the 7th house, which is the area of your life that is about long-term significant partners, business partners as well, significant others. So for Virgo, you're getting a balance here because you're moving into a Libra energy. Now, traditionally, it's about your husband or wife and public people, although it might seem a little strange to put things like that together. So it's about adjustment of any problems or animosity or anything that requires a little bit more of a further explanation. How many times in your life have you gotten a vague answer about something and you're like, can't you just tell me the whole thing? Why am I going around in circles? You know, some people put those riddles up on Facebook, and they put WTF with the hand over their head, and everybody says, What's wrong? What's wrong? And they say, oh, nothing. I just can't really talk about it on Facebook. Oh my God, you've just totally, baited us into asking what the hell's wrong with you? Why are you putting such a vague statement up on Facebook? I just can't even look at that crap anymore. Someone does that looking for attention, Come on. So it's that kind of thing. someone that's given you a vague answer, and maybe there's something on your mind where you're like, I'd really like to resolve this situation. I didn't really get an answer about something, and I really want to resolve the whole thing. And it's kind of on your mind, all right? So there's relating here, there's balancing here, there's commitment here. In some areas, there's a little bit of a struggle, but you are aware of the great need to like and share with somebody else. You're trying to sort things out. You want to have everything balanced. Virgo really likes that too. And if there is really no partner in your life, this could mean also for you, Virgo, that you might be meeting someone that is going to meet your standards. Okay? I'm laughing because it's like, the standards are pretty high here. Like, okay, so what? I say stick to who you are. You're not going to be happy with someone that you've just settled for. I don't know why people do that. I don't know why I did it for so many years in my past, just settling for it, or just thinking that you can make it better, or just thinking that you can heal it, or thinking it's not that bad. And it is that bad. It's also embarrassing. You don't want to go anywhere with a person. That should be a sign. But my husband and I, we do everything together. Like, I'm downstairs right now doing these videos, and I know he's missing me and I'm missing him too. We don't get sick of each other. That never happened in my past. So anyway, there's this area of your life about long-term significant partners in business or in life, and getting an answer and not allowing someone to get away with some vague reason why they treated you like whatever they did, right? I hate that. Just moving away from drama. If someone had a problem, I'd rather they tell me to my face than go around in circles hating on me but still coming and smiling at me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, just be honest. Someone's going to be honest with you, Virgo. Okay, so now we move to Libra. So what's this moon doing for you, Libra? Ah, Saturn. Ooh. Okay, so Libra's got the Saturn. Okay, so Saturn here is the part of you that accepts challenges, to gain wisdom. So every 27 years we have our Saturn return, which means all hell breaks loose. So when you were 27, if you're not 27 yet, you still got it. But when you were 27, what happened for you? Let me see. Yeah, so when I was 27, that is when things started to happen with my youngest son. And I broke up with his dad and all the drama started. So this was, a long time ago for me now. So the part of you that accepts challenge to gain wisdom, we have to learn from anything that's coming up. And so this is the part of you that grows into wisdom, but there are also some tasks and lessons, maybe even fears to conquer. Sometimes we've got to experience those down parts. Some people say to me, I thought I was protected and all this hell broke loose. And I'm like, yeah, to teach you something. You're not going to get unnecessary lessons anymore, but you're going to still get things that happen. You can't just have a life of nothing happening, because you will not learn a thing. I mean, it's one thing if you've chosen a life where you're not learning anything in this life. I don't know anybody that's the case for. Maybe there is, I don't know, but you gotta have some moments when you're down, because it allows you to self-examine. It allows you to get past something, build strength, build your character as well. So usually when we're 27, something major happens to us, and then every 27 years after. So remember that every cloud has a silver lining. So always look for the silver lining in any area. So for Libra, you're going through it right now, but you're gaining a lot from these experiences that you're having. Be careful not to go into fear. Don't go into hesitancy of the future. Just chalk it up to experience and move forward. Improvements are going to be made. Achievements that you make now are going to last a lifetime. Lifetime of achievements. Wow. Then Sag, the lucky adventure, energy, fast moving, good fortune, Sagittarian that can be totally nervous, totally full of anxiety. That's the only trouble with it. It's not overthinking. It's more that something annoys the Sagittarian and they don't say anything. And then about 4 weeks later, there's like, right, huge big explosion. Now I'm really peed off. Get out of my way. It's like nobody knows what the hell you've been daydreaming about for 4 weeks. Okay, it's a fire thing. Right, so Sagittarian area of your life is the transformational area. Intense emotions. As you can see, there's, rings here, angels here. Like there's all kinds of things that are happening. Loved ones around you. So Sagittarius, you'll be going through the 8th house. This is how this moon's affecting you. Now, this is not exact your astrology chart because that would be ridiculous to try to do that for all 12 signs. This is just the way that I'm doing it here today. So this is about birthing energy. It's about intense physical relationships. It is about feelings, the deep feelings, things that affect us on emotional levels. If we feel betrayed by the soul who shared these moments with us, we've shared so much with someone, we've opened right up, and then then revenge and jealousy and hatred can also be possible if we have been taken to these intense feelings and then they've just been used against us, right? Ooh, so this area of your life contains all that will transform and change you. So the end of a chapter in your life, Sagittarius, is possible as you're taken from one state of being to be reborn into another state of being. Absolutely. We've got to do this. We've got to allow it. And so sometimes we can actually meet people who work in crisis situations. Sometimes this can come up in our life. Money or goods that belong to others and possessions that we share with partners are also covered by the 8th house. And sometimes the difficulty can come up here if love turns into bitter hatred and things have to be divided. So hopefully you're not in this place, but if you are, try to manage battle of wills with humility and restraint. So sometimes it can also mean in astrology that there's some kind of inheritance that you might receive, Sagittarius, but really it's just things are shifting and changing. And again, I must stress, don't ignore these messages that you keep getting of leaving something, finishing it. And maybe you were supposed to finish it a while ago and you didn't, you see? And then it comes back again and you're like, why me again? Can't everything just be sorted out? And it can't, because you keep on doing the same reaction. You keep on doing the same story to yourself. Trusting someone far too soon or a situation far too soon. Jumping into it with both feet, thinking that this person is going to be, or this situation is going to be right because you feel it. And you feel it deep down inside and you're like, this has got to be correct. When really what you're feeling is pause and concern and hang on a minute. But you're so excited that you'll jump into this energy thinking this is it. This person is going to treat me like I should be treated, or this job is going to treat me correct, or whatever it is. And then you get all let down when the fanfare is over and the carnival finishes and suddenly you're left with ordinary mundane life, and the person's going to work and you're going to work, and then you come home just to have a quick bite to eat, and then you're so tired you go to sleep and the next day starts again. Where's all that fun and excitement gone? It's because you don't listen to your instincts until it's too late. This is transforming for you, Sagittarius, because you deserve what you're looking for. You deserve this. So learn to have a good break between situations. Get to know yourself. Stay away from anything that is unhealthy. And don't think that you can fix it with love, because that's only one-sided. Because otherwise it would be both of you working together, and it hasn't been. All right, so it's transforming, and we move into Scorpio. This is your moon, Scorpio. The energy is intense. It's masterful. It's thoughtful and magnetically charming. It's also secretive, possessive. Okay, Scorpio, what are you learning from your moon? Oh my God, it's the moon. That's what you're learning, the moon. Oh, okay, so the moon is the subconscious, sensitive inner emotions and responses. The moon is connected to mother, to the feminine, to females, and to your own inner feminine or divine feminine self. Okay, which is emotional, which is sensitive, which is psychic. Okay, if you have a lot of water signs in your chart, you know, you're really psychic. You just got to learn to stop trying to read everybody, because you're just naturally drawn to the sensitive side. Okay, then you start, you know, reading everybody, and sadly it can turn into assumptions. So just be careful, but you have the moon here. So this is the part of you that's represented by the moon. And this is going to be in the area of this full moon. So the real moon in the sky can only reflect the sun's light. And in this way, you should learn to reflect on issues with light. So just as we can't expose ourselves to the heat of solar energy for long periods and need time in the shade, so too do we need space and time to make sense of our daily experiences and busy lives. Your feelings are the only thing that can guide you now. So try not to overanalyze or explain too much. Just feeling your truth. It exists deep within. In some ways, your mother or another nurturing female from the family may have answers to the matter or any question that you have at hand. Okay? So the moon is our subconscious process. The experiences and reactions are considered and committed to our memory. This is part of our inner selves. All the crap that we've dealt with is in our inner memory, in our traumatic responses, how we've responded our entire lives. And as a Scorpio, you may have blamed yourself your entire life or become bitter and angry because you felt that you were shorted somehow. Okay, you were let down somehow. And maybe, you know, in a sense, with the Scorpio energy, maybe part of you knows that how things went was supposed to be that way, but part of you is still annoyed that it did go that way. And maybe you need to let go of some things to do with your own mother, okay, or a female, a past relationship, or maybe you need to look at yourself deeply and ask yourself if you're fulfilled emotionally. Are you fulfilled emotionally? If not, what is blocking that from taking place? Something is going to change within you because of this full moon. It's in your sign. It's going to be intense. But at the same time, I believe that you're totally ready for it as well. Okay, Taurus, this was your new moon that we just had. Isn't that funny? They were right behind each other. So you're affected as well because you're still in this eclipse energy. So what's happening for Taurus? Okay, we have Vesta. Okay, this is awesome. So we have Taurus, which is the energy around you, showing abundance in nature, etc., etc. And we have Vesta, the goddess within, your sacred spiritual center and quiet dignity. So you've been learning, right? So you've been going on a learning phase of your life. You've been recognizing yourself in a different way. Now, we know that some Taurians, depending on their moon sign, can come across really smug, okay? I know many Taurians, okay, and they are not smug. In fact, they're the opposite because they have a lot of water in their charts as well. But a Taurian that is really stubborn, okay, so it is the bull, right, will actually be quite boastful of their stuff. They expect people to know when they're going through a hard time and remember that hard time, and you know, wow, it's May the 9th or something, and you're supposed to remember that it's a day that they were hurt somehow, you know, like unbelievable pressures that sometimes can happen with Taurus. They get butthurt if you don't remember when something was important to them, right? Not all Taurians, but some. There's one in particular I can think of right now. Total jerk. And anyways, so Vesta here talks about humble service, the spiritual center of your life, represents the spiritual center of you, the fire of the divine within, your perfect sacred spirit. Something is completely changing here because of this. You're seeing yourself differently, Taurus. If you open up to your spiritual self, your own teaching capabilities, your own sharing capabilities, and remain humble and not get big-headed, you will go so far, right? Because we know that ego is no part of, like, having a big ego, it doesn't belong in spirituality. There's one thing about being confident, and that's awesome. But having this big head, I don't think anybody likes someone that has a big show-off attitude. So you're going to change so much that you're going to be so happy with how things are going that you're going to be tempted to show that off, okay? So just remember, whilst it's great to be confident and, you know, happy and joyful, just keep it at that. And, you know, try to be humble. Okay, I know it's hard when you have a new skill or you are really proud of yourself. You want others to also recognize it. Sadly, it's just for you sometimes, and to express it in a way that's loving. So it does talk about fire and earth, comfort and confidence as well. And taking the time to really get to know yourself. And perhaps, Taurus, that is exactly what you have done. Amazing. That's a beautiful card. And Aries is the last card, I think. Yep. Wow, and you got Chiron. So, okay, so you're healing your own wounds here, Aries. So if you want to look up your chart and look up where your planets are, for example, Chiron, okay, is in Aries for me, right, in my actual chart, which means I'm the wounded healer, okay? Chiron was struck by a poison arrow and wasn't able to help himself to heal. He could help everybody else, but he couldn't help himself to heal. So my challenge in this life was to make sure that I was healing myself before I bothered about trying to heal everybody else. Because you want to, because you have this beautiful healing passion and you want everybody to feel the excitement that you do. You want everybody to understand that you've got it, that you know what you're doing, and you've worked something out, right? And you've healed yourself. You want everybody to know that. Not everybody is ready for it, and that can be the hard part. So this is the tender part of you, Aries, that really seeks to give healing and eventually becomes wise through the experience of the healing, okay? So in mythology, Chiron was half horse, half man. He used his knowledge of music, medicine, prophecy, fighting, and hunting to heal and teach the Greek heroes. So he was gentle and wise. He's a centaur, half man, half horse. And he was wounded by a stray poison arrow, as I told you. So he was unable to heal this wound. He lived in pain. You don't have to live in pain, Aries. It's a deep reflection that's coming up for you here. Looking at your energy, looking at your focus and direction. Are you going to allow the wounds of the past to be your banner that you live by? For example, there are some people in this world that don't want to get any better. They think that anything that's the woo is weird. They think that, you know, being on chemical dependence of antidepressants and all that is the way forward. And it doesn't really help you to understand your emotions. It actually suppresses it, messes with the serotonin levels in your brain, and wreaks havoc on your body's chemistry. So some people would rather just say no to you because, you know, they, in some sense, it's like they don't believe that something that simple that you're offering is going to work. You know, all of your spiritual journey is so simple, and people just make it so difficult. If one or two swear words come out today, sorry about that, everybody. I'm usually really good, but I get, this is a passionate kind of a connection here for Aries, because you really get a bad rap in astrology of being some jerk that is always going off half-cocked, okay? And that is actually not how Aries is. I mean, traditionally it is. I mean, you would normally find a boss being an Arian, right? They really take to control and leadership really well. However, the other side of them is that they fake all of that stuff. You know, they pretend that they're strong. They pretend that they've got it all together. They pretend that they're the greatest leader, and they deal with their emotions quietly. They deal with any pain that they're feeling. They don't want to be vulnerable to pain, right? I've dealt with so many Arians in my past. There's not one of them that has been overly aggressive, ever. They've been misunderstood and treated harshly as well, because they're supposed to suck it up. So this is saying that you need to acknowledge where you've been hurt, Aries, and you know, it might have been in your childhood, or you might have been abused, or something might have happened to you, and you've blamed yourself, and enough is enough, because you will kill yourself just to live. You will, just to live, because you will try to hide this pain, and it's still poison running through your body, you see? So Aries, your big challenge is to acknowledge yourself and your emotional side, and give yourself the compassion that you believe others are deserving of. Give it to yourself and see powerful change. See the healing occur, and your healing powers, if you want to use them, will also increase. Okay? Wow. All right, so I wanted to do, isn't that cool? Just having a look at it that way. See how much things can shift. Okay. All right, everyone. We're going to move on to the next card readings. Okay. Let me have a mouthful. Okay, before I move on, I want to show you these. I got secondhand. So we're asking today, we're going to be doing tarot. We're going to be doing, this is, Now there's some Rudy pictures in these. Okay, these are rune cards. I got them secondhand because I like to buy things secondhand. I really do. I have a thing about it. I guess it comes from being in my life, you know, being homeless and really appreciating just little things. I see someone had to give these cards up and they needed to have, you know, love and support. So some of the images are going to be a little like risque. I just, you know, hopefully, I know on TikTok I can't show anything that might have a boobie in it or something. Not that I'm like really wanting to show boobies and butts, but if it comes up, I apologize. But let's have a look at the rune cards, the power of the runes. Just have a quick, these are just very quick messages. What are we going to be working on now that we've got this moon coming up? We have the 9. We have, okay. We have the 5. We have Thor there. And we have the 6. Okay, so just take a look at these cards real quick. Okay, because Hagalaz, Araidho, and Ceres. Okay. So, let's take a look. Hagalaz. Okay, so this is hail, ice, etc. Cosmic primal egg. The seed, the evolution, the germination, the well-being, the protection, balance of forces, the structure of the world, the mother of all runes. And we've got the moon energy with us now and completeness. So this is growth, flourishing new possibilities, and a balance of forces. Check out that card. Isn't it awesome? Okay, so this is what the rune cards are telling us. We're going to have growth. We're going to flourish. There's new possibilities here. And then we have Radho. Let's come up here. And this is Thor's war chariot, the sun chariot. And this is talking about circulation, cosmic laws, judgment, riding, movement, dance, cycles, path, rhythm, journey, advice, and rights. So this talks about clarity, rhythm, auspicious moments, control, and order. So if there's been any breaking of the rules or anyone doing anything wrong, it's like this brings everything back to order, okay? It brings everything into understanding. And then we have Ceres. Oh, Kanats, okay. Which talks about the torch of the light of the torch. Flame, light in the darkness, illumination, impulse, will, compassion, combustion, fever, and ignition. Willpower, passion, desire, love, creative fire, and renewal. So, any lack of life force or any suffocation or any kind of, you know, stressful situation, it seems like our runes are telling us that everything is coming into love. Everything's coming into creative energy, right? That we are supported and strong. And it looks like, you know, in this instance, our heart space, our solar plexus are completely connected to all that is. That we have support from the other side of the realms as well. And that we are armed and ready for whatever's coming. See, these are quite positive and nice. I have no idea what these cards, these are called the power of the runes. And there we go. So we're just getting used to these cards because I've not long had them. I think I got them on eBay for like, I don't know, $11 or something. They gave me this cute little bag. I was like really grateful. They got a little bag with it too. I've got some other cards that will be coming in the next few weeks. And some of them are some of my first decks, and I was able to find some of these cards as well. All right, so I'm going to move on right now to the Nostradamus deck. I have some other decks for us as well. This is really interesting. We know this. It looks like everything is beginning to transform already. So this is the Lost Tarot of Nostradamus. It's, oh my God, last time I was here for a while with these cards. So hopefully you will enjoy this. It really gives us some clear insight and some interesting information behind it. So what we have is, we're asking about the moon. I'm going to give these a good shuffle. What's going to happen because of this moon in our lives and worldwide? So if you've been watching for a while, we've been having, each week we've been having a reading on everything that's taking place. And now we're in this beautiful full moon vibration. Make sure you are shutting off anything that you don't want to be involved with. Like, shut off that TV. Shut off stupid, Facebook posts, and unfollow the ones that are constantly moaning. And, it's one thing to privately talk with someone about your problems, but constantly putting your problems all over Facebook, I never got that. You don't see that from me. Okay. Even if I had a problem, the last thing I'm going to do is put it all over Facebook. Jesus. Okay. Sorry, I have to keep drinking water. I've got the microphone on, so you can probably hear the whole thing. Okay. All right, let's go, Nostradamus. What's going to happen because of this moon? And when it gets to be these ones down here, when it's their turn, I'll bring them up. And it's a final card over here. Okay, straight enough. Oh, the gaps need to be, I need to get my ruler. I'm only kidding. I'm kidding. All right. Let's start. What do we got here? Two of Suns. Two of Suns. Okay, there's a male and a female right there. Okay, let's take a look. This is really interesting if you haven't seen the Nostradamus before. There is a quatrain from Nostradamus and an explanation of these strange little cards, okay? So let's take a look. From quatrain 148. When the sun takes up the cycle of his missing days. Wow. When the sun takes up the cycle of his missing days, and that's sun, S-U-N, then the summit of my prophecy will be accomplished. So is there going to be days of darkness? Anyway, some commentators have compared the characteristics of this card with the figure of Alexander the Great, who is said to have wept when he had conquered the known world because there was nowhere else to go. In the wider sphere of meaning, we may see references to global dominion in this card of great achievements, which has nonetheless resulted in stasis. The secret here is to find a way forward through the thorny jungles of wealth and possessions which can clutter our lives without giving us more than fleeting satisfaction. So Nostradamus' imagery presents us with two crowned rulers, king and queen. The latter is smiling. So the queen's happy. The female energy is happy. The former, so the king or the leader or the prime minister or the president, expression is revealing the weight of his role. Female's not really that fussed. So the planet Mars has an astrological influence on this card. As a planet of war, its negative effects on the astrology of the individual suggest a quarrelsome, angry person who tends to clash with those in authority. It may be someone who is in a position of great power, who's reached the pinnacle of their life and yet finds no satisfaction. Can't get no. One of the reversed readings for this card is enchantment. Okay, so we're not reversed. Right, so again, it talks about achievements, maturity, a dominant personality, a hot temper, over boldness, determination, arguments, and new possibilities. See, this is very, very telling here of what's going on. And the sun takes up the cycle of his missing days. Then the summit, the peak of the prophecy will be accomplished. Okay, so we don't know how far along in the quatrains that is. Anyway. All right, let's keep going. So the weight of this person's role in life is clearly showing. Then we have the Six of Stars here, and we have a peace dove. All right, I am going to read this. Six of Stars. Between two rivers. Oh, this is quatrain 8 and 55. Between two rivers, one will be trapped. Barrels and casks will be joined to pass beyond. Between two rivers, one is going to be trapped. Barrels, so they make a makeshift raft, and they're going to be joined so they can keep on going past the rivers. This card is about journeying, whether away from or towards events, depending on the cards. So the planet Mercury has an astrological influence which suggests that a message will arrive, which may indeed turn into a journey. It may be a difficult journey because barrels and casks are going to be joined to pass. Okay. So Mercury, which is the messenger of the gods, wore winged sandals that enabled him to travel great distances at high speed. So the traditional image depicts a figure seated in a boat which is being poled by a dark-haired individual. So here we see a dove carrying an olive branch flying from or towards the ark, which holds representatives of every species in the whole of creation. So there are so many reasons why we might undertake a journey. It may be to another country or simply to a new idea or place of work. Alternatively, it can refer to the journey of the spirit beyond life. The most important theme of this card, however, is the indication of a move away from stale or worn out ideas or situations toward a more satisfactory place. So it's a journey, it's a travel, it's holiday, it's a messenger and trying to overcome negativity. Maybe it's a messenger about a leadership or a change here that's occurring. because we know that definitely the male leaders have a really sour. They don't have much of a outlook on anything. They're just going through the motions. I just feel that we're definitely getting messages here. Some of you are traveling or going on a holiday or being able to finally get somewhere that you wanted to be after a time of doing things tough, which we've all been through. Oh, here's another one. So now we have the 11 here. What is it? Sorry. Oh, it's a Page of Suns, but it's an 11 card. Okay. Another 2. Okay. So then we have this one. Okay. Have a good listen to this quatrain. It's quatrain 857. A simple soldier will attain an empire. He will graduate from a short tunic to a long robe. Simple soldier will attain an empire. He will graduate from a short tunic to a long robe. You know, someone should have said to Nostradamus, can you just make it a little bit easier to understand what the hell you're talking about? Stop talking in riddles, okay? You're just looking for attention. The character of the Page of Suns is that of an artless, sometimes overly candid person who speaks first and thinks afterwards. For all this, he or she is probably a genius, someone who has had such a rapid and intuitive grasp of a skill or situation that they can appear cleverer than what they actually are. The page is often the bearer of news, generally of fabulous or extraordinary news, and can also be the message as well as a messenger. Although, as with all 4 pages in the deck, we have attributed no specific character to the card, it could represent any genius or extraordinary person with whom we come into contact. Historically, we may think of Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo, wayward geniuses who changed their world, but were difficult and at times dangerous men as well. Secret messages. So it says this is often seen as a card of the follower, the fan, who echoes the skill or knowledge of the person they admire without actually embodying it. So you may find yourself in the presence of someone who speaks with great brilliance, or you may be such a person yourself, but behind the honeyed words may lie a youthful uncertainty. So this is talking about a surprise, an extraordinary person, a stranger, a prodigy, faithfulness, emissary, and marvelousness. So a simple person will attain an empire. So he will graduate from being a nobody, someone that blends in, to being someone that everybody recognizes because of his status. So it's almost like we have someone that comes in and nobody knows who they are, and all of a sudden they wrote a book and everybody knows who they are. Or they're in a movie, everybody knows who they are, right? They may have had nothing throughout their life and suddenly they're self-made and they're doing it. But they are bringing us, as you can see, into our future. So this card over here is going to be a little bit telling of what the message is going to be like. But they are someone who's gone undetected. Okay, so I'm trying to tune in a little bit here. And I feel that this is someone that nobody expects to have the ability to change everything. And this is in both worldly and personal lives. Oh God. All right, this is okay. So the message may be about this person. It may reveal itself over here, and we may get to the heart of the matter down here. So let's take a look at this one. The Four of Moons. Who's this? Okay, I get excited. This is the card we're moving on to. This is from the Quatrain 828. Oh my God. Listen carefully. Forgeries of gold and silver multiply. Maybe printing money, so that after their seizure, they are thrown in the lake, worthless. Forgeries of gold and silver multiply, so that after their seizure, they are thrown in the lake. Either the forgeries or the people that were doing it. Okay? This card represents the person who's reached the top of the ladder of success and no longer is sure of what lies ahead. The resultant falling away of enthusiasm and loss of direction makes it a difficult place to be. Here, the papal figure seems less positive, despite being balanced by the power of the pen and the banner of the cross keys over here. Perhaps a threatening serpent approaching from his left sinister side accounts for this. In traditional tarot, the influence of the moon may be seen to grow stronger, giving the person a moony quality with a tendency to daydream and be uncertain, or actually be a lunatic. How about that? Someone who losing their marbles, maybe, perhaps. I wonder who that is. There's a lot of people losing their marbles right now, okay? You may have noticed vagueness in people that you know. Like, hello, are you there? Is anybody home? Yeah, okay. Might as well have not said anything. The interpretation of this card stretches all the way from dullness to extreme boredom to self-hate. You may feel divided, stressed, and weary after too much work. Accept this as a period of rest and reflection, and try to believe in yourself. Don't harbor bitterness towards others. Okay? So this person who became a leader or is in a leadership position came from really having nothing to this, and now doesn't know what the hell they are doing because there's too many things that are coming out. There's too much information that's coming forward. There's too much emotion and stress, and it's too hard for this person, and they are falling apart. And I feel that way about, you don't even have to look at the USA. Just look around at what are they doing? Nothing for their people. Nothing. I don't see it, So Australia, wow, that's my home. And it's, my children are there, and it's like being destroyed by greed. And so when a person knows that the gig is up, what do they start doing? They start making very stupid decisions. And we're obviously in the thick of that. Okay. So we're not harboring any bitterness. We just want freedom. We want truth. We want the light to just, now we want to be finished with all this nonsense. I think personally, for my personal side of things, is I just lift myself away. I don't live in the reality of that world, and a lot of people are going through this clashing of worlds right now where you're trying to manifest and move forward into your truthfulness and into your true life and your happiest life and your most abundant life, but the 3D world is still nagging at you. It's still difficult to buy your petrol. It's still difficult to buy food. It's still difficult to pay the rent. It's still difficult to do all of the things that you could do before. And, so it's hard to stay in this high mindset or high vibrational mindset while your body is still physically going through all of the craziness. Okay? But remember that your mind is your biggest asset, or your mind will be the biggest thing that is your worst enemy. So you've got to have it as your best asset, and you constantly have to remind yourself of your new, lucky, abundant, easy life, and release yourself from what appears to be your reality still. That's the hard part, and it's hard to explain it, and we're going to have to wait for the destiny code. Okay? I'm doing that webinar to help teach you how to shift into your destiny. So anyway, this guy's worried. Okay, this guy's worried. Now let's see what comes because of that. What is the messenger telling us? The messenger here is bringing us or telling us this one. The sun is coming up here. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Okay. So from this quatrain, we have the sun here. So Mercury will be put out to graze by Vulcan. The sun will be clear, sparkling, and fair. Mercury will be put out to graze by Vulcan. What the fuck does that mean? The sun will be clear, sparkling, and fair. Alright, let me try to help. The radiant light of the sun pierces everything, sending its rays into darkness, illuminating the darkest chambers of the soul and the most abstruse ideas of the thinker. It's one of the single most unvarying images in the tarot that has changed very little over the centuries. So in the image from the Lost Book, we see the fiery sun beaming its rays to the earth, right? While overhead, once again, sits the 8-spoked wheel. This was most important image for Nostradamus because it indicated by the fact that it appeared on his actual coat of arms. So here we may assume that it refers to the constancy of the sun's power and energy, which continues around the year, even during winter when it continues to give light even though its warmth is obscured. So the presence of other stars suggests that, unusually for his time, Nostradamus may have been aware of the idea of a heliocentric universe proposed by Galileo, but not generally accepted for many years afterwards. So in many tarot books, either one or two children are portrayed as playing beneath the life-giving rays of the sun. But here we see a lion crowned with a cardinal's hat. Though the image can be associated with the arms of the Venetian state, it's more likely a suggestion the sun's glory shines down on the church. Well, there's something interesting here as well, because the lion and the unicorn are part of the British coat of arms as well. In the last reading we had only the unicorn, and in this reading we have only the lion, okay, coming with the sun, which also indicates Leo, right? It does. It indicates Leo. But is it to mean that Mercury will be put out to graze by Vulcan? Put out to graze by Vulcan. Is that talking about Mercury going into retrograde? Anyway. So, as we would expect, the primary meaning of this card is happiness, contentment, and joy. It signifies health, it signifies wealth, and a joyous acceptance of good things which rain down on the reader. So it's bringing a more of a blessing to the reading. And remember that this messenger is coming to you, this person who suddenly becomes, known, comes and lets us know, hey, good things are coming. So it says here enlightenment, happiness, contentment, joy, health, triumph, material fortune, friendship, marriage, and success. Okay, one moment. So, put out to graze by Vulcan. Hang on. Vulcan meaning, just a second. Aha, okay, so Vulcan. Vulcan was a theorized planet that some pre-20th century astronomers thought existed in an orbit between Mercury and the Sun. So, what he was saying is when Mercury is put out to graze, means it's next to Vulcan. Okay? Wherever the heck Vulcan is. Speculation about or even purported observations of the intermercurial bodies or planets date back to the beginning of the 17th century. It's a hypothetical planet now. Why now? Hang on a minute. They say it was never there. However, Nostradamus is talking about it being there, and he was an astronomer as well. For 60 years between 1859 and 1919, even the most brilliant astronomers were adamant that there existed a planet between Mercury and the Sun. Just a second. And it was never there, they said. So it took 60 years for Albert Einstein to vanquish their obstinacy, and in the process repudiates a theory fortified by almost 400 years of time and dogma. Einstein confounded the theory of gravity bestowed upon us by the man who was then considered a demigod of physics, Isaac Newton. On the solitary night of March 13th, 1781, astronomer William Herschel, with a telescope he built himself, set out on his usual venture of surveying stars. However, that night it was anything but usual. On that night, Fortune embraced him as one of her darlings. The solitary night turned out to be the most important and cherished night of his entire life. He observed a shiny disc-like object that he had every reason to believe was a star. However, after curiously observing it for a brief period, he discovered the star was orbiting the sun, and he calculated that it was orbiting 18 times further away than the Earth orbits the sun. What Herschel had discovered wasn't a star, but a planet, and the discovery made him a celebrity. Herschel had discovered what we now call Uranus, but originally he named the planet how any other astronomer would do. He named it after his patron. So for a brief period, the planets were recited as Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Georgium Sidus, the Georgian planet after King George III. Later, to confirm to the age-old tradition of naming the planets after Roman gods, it was named Uranus after the Roman god of the sky. Okay, so wait a moment. Okay. So Neptune was discovered mathematically. Mercury wobbled as well. Okay, I'm just trying to see about this thing. Okay, so there. All right, so here we go. So Edmund Lascebolt was a physician whose unbridled passion for astronomy forced him to pursue it as a hobby. One day in the year 1859, while surveying the sky, he observed a dot on the sun's disk, and Edmund was dubious as it was equally likely to be a sunspot. However, it was rumoured that just then a patient visited this physician. After Edmund attended to this patient, he returned to the telescope only to witness that the dot had moved. He reported to have watched the entire transit as it traversed the white disk, only to ultimately fall and vanish into the blue sky. So while it's also equally likely to be Mercury, he was certain that it wasn't, for he had observed Mercury's transit before. So had he discovered a new planet? Had he just stumbled into the much withdrawn and elusive Vulcan? So he thought he might have. And so, based on his data, Vulcan orbited the Sun with a period of 19 days and 17 hours. Of course, its orbit was naturally elliptic, but with an eccentricity of just 12 degrees, it was nearly a perfect circle with a radius of 21 kilometers. So Vulcan was estimated to be considerably smaller than Mercury, and its mass at least 1/17 of Mercury's mass, right? So in this card, he's talking about Mercury moving and grazing with Vulcan, a planet that they believed in, okay? That's why I'm trying to figure this out. Wait a second. So, in 1860, after rigorously examining this data, Leverrier officially announced to the world the discovery of Vulcan, the planet between Mercury and the Sun. And apparently this Edmund was awarded the Légion d'honneur, the highest order of a merit a Frenchman can receive for military and civil merits. So wow, couldn't be happier, right? So in the following years, he was barraged with numerous reports, mostly unreliable reports, insisting they'd witnessed another transit. The sources were convinced that an intra-Mercurial planet had been discovered. Numerous dark spots were observed, and he then incorporated the data into an original data and forecasted future transits. And when they failed to occur, he immediately tinkered with the parameters a bit more. More dots, more sightings, and more data received, but each claim was lacking substantial evidence. So, a definitive identity for Vulcan was yet to be established. So total solar eclipses represent the perfect opportunity to witness a dot crossing the sun's glaring ring. And total solar eclipses in 1883, 87, 89, 900, and 901 were observed scrupulously, but no planet was captured during those periods of darkness. So at this point, Vulcan seemed chimerical, and for the community of science to believe in illusions is to commit heresy. So then in 1905, Einstein published 4 papers that spawned what we now call modern physics and revolutionized. So the theory of relativity, okay, on it goes, right. So they believed that there was a planet called Vulcan. What if something like that were to occur again? Where Mercury grazes with Vulcan, does Mercury alter its course somehow? Does something shift because of our timeline dimensions, right? I really have to thoroughly channel into this information. I don't want to bore you guys too much with going over different things, but it's really interesting to understand how Nostradamus must have thought. So, but anyway, at any rate, this messenger, okay, is bringing us news of happiness after this time of discouragement, which makes sense to us. Oh God. And then we have this wheel of life again. You see this wheel? Then we have the Ace of Stars. This is what the sun is going to bring us. Okay, we're going to take it. We're going to take it. All right, this is the quatrain for the Ace of Stars. Okay. Are you ready? I swear we've had this one before. Ignorant jealousy is upheld before the great king. He will propose a defense of the writings. This is quatrain 457. So ignorant jealousy is upheld before the king. He will propose a defense of his writings or the writings. Okay, so the traditional meaning of the Ace of Swords offers clear pointers. The earliest tarot masters identified the sword either with that of the biblical King David or Archangel Michael. It later turns up in the Grail myths as the sword wielded by Galahad, the Grail winner, who finds it aboard a mystical ship of Solomon. The sword wielded by Michael is a sword of light, which is said to represent truth and justice and to burn away all untruths. Ooh, the imagery of the Lost Book, a hand holds a sword, which is surmounted by the 8th spoked wheel and draped in a scroll. Suggesting that its fiery and piercing rays are always present in our lives and that knowledge yet awaits to be written on the scroll. Knowledge awaits to be written on the scroll. Okay, so the most widely acknowledged meaning of this card is that which cuts away. It has associations with justice. Seen as a fiery angelic sword, Nostradamus included several such swords in the imagery of the Lost Book. The most important aspect of this card is the strength it represents. Such power can overwhelm those who tap into it. So this card favors an intellectual response rather than an emotional one. Okay, we've got to think about it. Whatever information's coming in, we don't want to react. In most instances, it indicates the need to strip away worn-out ideas and reveal the truth at the heart of the matter. Okay? So intellect, triumph, aggression, passion, overwhelming power, cutting to the heart of an issue and initiating ideas and plans. Okay? Wow. And finally, what the heck? Oh my God, there's the unicorn right there. Okay, so in this, which one was it? Where did we have the lion? Okay. So I just said to you about the last reading that we did, where we had only the unicorn, and here it is again. And there's only 2 cards in this deck with the green energy on it. And this person, this papal, this leader is waiting for support from the Commonwealth. He's waiting for support from the Commonwealth to back him up in what he's been doing, and they don't give it. Instead, they turn on him. I want you to just think about what that could mean, because that is what has been coming up. The vulture's there ready to pick up the pieces. You know, we have the energy of Libra here. Things are supposed to be balanced. He's supposed to have the people. He's got a person he's got his hand out towards right here. He's supposed to have the people under control. This is pretty interesting. Okay. The 4 of Suns. Oh, stars, sorry. Okay. All right. I want you to listen to this as well. Evil to he who opens the newly found tomb and does not immediately close it. Evil to he who opens the newly found tomb and does not immediately close it. None of these tombs should be touched at all. At all. So this may stem from the story of the Grail. In this ancient myth, the king lies wounded but unable to die. Literally, he's held in a suspended state. He waits for the coming of one who'll set him free, but instead he's betrayed, you see. In Nostradamus' imagery, we see a pope about to be pierced by a unicorn's horn. This perfectly represents entering a state of being from which is hard to return, and which, though it may give an opportunity to recover, it can also become a prison. In some sources, the unicorn was replaced by the image of the Grail. I think it has everything to do with the actual imagery here. So, following storms and upsets, the seeker withdraws for a time to live a hermit-like existence. So here it is possible to live frugally, take stock of loss, and to prepare to re-emerge into the world. However, there's also a sense of being banished, of having to leave old ways and enter into a new way. So this card suggests that through prudent action, we may learn and gain strength from the sense of loss or abandonment. Solitude, respite, exile, banishment, abandonment, and withdrawal. Evil to he who opens the newly found tomb and does not immediately close it. It's opening up a book of worms, you know, a can of worms, let's say. And instead of quickly dissolving the situation, it started to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And now waiting for people to back him up, and they're not going to, because they don't want to, you know, if for example that there was something that came out about, you know, a person of prominence, let's just say, and he was expecting everybody to back him up because they've also been bad. You watch how many people jump ship because they really don't want to go down with the ship, and they don't respect that person enough to actually lie for them anymore. Holy crap. So this person who's done a lot of evil, okay, is expecting that he has backup, and he does not have backup where he thinks he does. Okay. So what's just a final word for this? You can take these readings however you want. It's funny. Spock was from Vulcan, wasn't he? Live long and prosper. Oh God. Okay. That card fell out, so we're going to have to take it. And it's the Four of Worlds. And look at this guy. Oh God. Now he's got a yellow thingo on. Red, green, and yellow. So who's who? Four of Spheres. Okay. Alright, so ready? Four of Spheres. From the original quatrain 3:24. Great confusion about the undertaking. Loss of generations, uncounted treasure. Oh, wow. The character who is said to stand behind this card is a classical King Midas, whose touch turned everything to gold, but whose luck turned after he became greedy and possessive of his riches when he accidentally touched his daughter and she turned into a golden statue. The lesson to be learned here is goes all the way back through human history. We should examine our attitude to wealth and possessions to ensure they don't bind us to the earth. So in this card, the papal figure is seen distributing food and legacy to two bears who represent his human flock. Over one shoulder, the starry circle of the cosmos suggests the need to include all of creation in the bounty and blessings of God. Right? So the interpretations of this card are usually about generosity, the giving of gifts to all, and the spreading of things. But there's a deeper meaning which suggests that you may be generous in order to make others like you, that in reality you hang on to the wealth only appearing to give it away. So it implies, in some cases, a feeling of being trapped right? But it is about kindness, it is about generosity, it is about gifts, offering, investment, it is about a bonus, and it is about success in business. But what it's saying to you is don't let it all, don't forget yourself in this process. And this is also saying on a larger scale that there is a person who has forgotten where they came from, who they really are, and who's helped them to be where they are today. So now everything that's been connected with a new start or a new life has turned sour, right? As the greed has kicked in, as the power's gone to the head. And this can only mean that, like it says there, you know, everything you touch turns to gold, and then you touch your daughter, so it starts affecting your own family. That's the only way that things can change for some people. So if we're talking about leadership, for example, then it may be something that happens close to home that throws this person into a reality check. Something that happens within their circle. Because sometimes that's the only way they know. They don't care so much about how things are affecting other families because they're not touched by those things. Okay? They don't have those same worries as the normal everyday person has, who has to get around life in a normal manner, right? And not be driven everywhere. We have to actually put petrol in our car. We have to actually put food on our table and cook it for ourselves. So the normal people or everybody, right, the collective, have still been managing to make it through, and we've still been pushing back hard, and we're still not giving into all of this, you know, nonsense that we seem to be seeing, and we're still giving to people as well because that's who we are. But someone who's false, okay, will give, and then still be holding back to his own. And that's when it bites him. You know, that's when it bites him. So you can appear to be a great person by giving things to everybody else, but if you don't give anything to your own people, they are soon going to turn their hands up in the air and turn on you. Because, you know, why would we continue to support, right? Give a person a chance and support it and go through all these hardships if everything's just going to be given elsewhere. You know, it's false promises. And I'm going to look after you, the people. And as soon as you have that opportunity to do so, you're turning your back on those people, those very same people that are your blood and bones, and turning, you know, just giving everything to somebody else. You know, it doesn't make any sense unless there's very, very dark reasons why you're doing it. And you're hoping that nobody will pull you or call you out on it. But it looks here that that is exactly what's going to happen. In the energy of Pluto, as I've been telling you for the last year, okay? Nothing that is corrupt can be left unturned. So it's eventually turning, and this thing's coming to the surface, and this and this and this and this. And then we see this behavior, because they can't help themselves but show who they really are. And look, this message is for anybody, no matter what side of the fence you're sitting on, okay? I'm sitting on my own fence, you know, in my own journey and my own forward focus. And I encourage all of you to do the same, because that's how we save everybody, is by generating blessings wherever we go, okay? And really focusing on ourselves, and that breaks through the barriers. It strengthens us. It strengthens our determination, our desires, our manifestations, everything. So, you know, we give, and we give freely. We don't give because we want to have, you know, some kind of recognition for our giving, and if we don't get it, we're going to punish everybody. That's not how a normal person works. It's how a narcissist works, okay? But not a normal person. So we need to understand these hidden messages in what we're getting. This moon is going to reveal a lot, And we know that everything happens in a 2-week passage with the moon. It also happens in a 2-week passage in your own life, okay? So, for example, if something was really highly stressful 2 weeks ago, you may have dealt with it really well, right? 2 weeks ago. And then you're, moving on and you're doing whatever you're doing and you've cleared yourself and all that stuff. And then suddenly you end up with hives or a breakout or, sore back or something because 2 weeks ago you were stressed out to hell and pushed it down and then it came out in your body, right? 2 weeks later. It's always a 2-week cycle. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see what happens after tomorrow's eclipse and 2 weeks after that. Like, I'm going to be here. Okay. We're going to check in with that stuff. Okay. So Nostradamus pulling, wow, some deep stuff here. Okay. And I'll have to get a whole study of my Nostradamus stuff out and take a look. Okay. I have these Kipper cards. Okay, we're going to take a look at those. So what we do, these are a little different than Lenormand, but we have the same principle here. We're going to get 2 cards, one for the main female and for the main male. This is going to represent all of us. The Kipper cards work a little differently, but are along the same lines of Lenormand. Little different. A little bit more information about like courthouses and jurisdictions and things like that. So whereas Lenormand has the Tower and that represents those things, the Kipper will have a lot to represent those things. So asking these cards about the moon, I am going to do it in a different way. So I'm going to do Vignette, which is a 5-card little reading. All right, so 5 cards. The one in the middle is going to be our main focus. We have the card of poverty. We have the card of family room. I'll explain this in a minute. This is our main focus, okay? The official person here is our main focus. Mature woman and a journey, okay? So we're going to look at these a little bit differently. This is our main focus and we'll be working off of our main focus, okay? And we'll be working off of these areas as well. So poverty obviously comes up, right? In a reading, and this is also showing the old-fashioned ways of looking at things. So poverty is a card that predicts deprivation, a lack, maybe a lack emotionally, a lack financially, materially, feeling like you're not supported and unloved, okay? Sometimes it's like you can find yourself in this situation where you're being squeezed, unable to really do everything that you want to do as well. And sometimes there can be like this uncaring environment around you. That's how we've all felt about the world lately, that we're just being squeezed and squeezed and squeezed and not treated fairly. And this is going on in people's family room, in people's living rooms. They're talking about this all over. So, you see, in the 19th century, Britain, Switzerland, abandoned and orphaned boys were purchased for their perilous labor of climbing up inside chimneys to clean out the flammable creosotes, sometimes while they were actually on fire. It was essentially a short life of miserable child slavery, a far cry from the sheltered life of others. So it does stand for grinding monetary circumstances. Sometimes it can talk about a lack of control, a bad position, scarcity, as well as being down on our luck. okay? But it's not surrounded by all these negative cards. So this is just more of a feeling that we're having. And some children are going through abuses, no matter what anyone says. And in the family room, being the next kind of connection here, we talk about society. We talk about, in some cases, we talk about apartments and things like that, small places, but it represents privacy and intimacy, a closeness as well. It talks about your personal space, your home, apartment, whatever it is. It also means other nearby cards are in the room. That is close. Events will come to pass very soon. An official person and these feelings of heaviness here, right? So it can mean 24 hours to 4 weeks or so. Hold fast to the present now. It describes everything that's close. And it also is a card that indicates your home, privacy in all rooms and apartments. You can retreat into your privacy without being an introvert. So this card is your space, your ambience, and your true home. Is it full of poverty thinking or poverty consciousness? Are you afraid that everything's going to die out, you know? Are you afraid that everything's going to be very hard for the rest of your life? Because this could also be a conscious feeling that you're blocking. The official person can sometimes be a challenge card. And he greets us with a fine, you know, he's got all these fine regalia on. He's got medals from his campaigns. He's any person in a uniform, such as a military person, a police officer, a fireman, someone who works in an official capacity. Someone at the post office can be an official person, okay? He can also stand for someone who can seem to have just no personal connection, like it can seem tough, like hard. So in this card here, this person could also be a friend or relative of you who can be a little hard to talk to. It can sometimes act as an exclamation point, describing, like, this person could be an official person. So he could just be like, yes, this mature woman is an official person, right? So you may be confronted with strict rules of daily life. Maybe you'll experience situation where power and authority are required, or maybe there's a restraint or formality or an ambitious person in your job. So the official person card says that you should be more determined and focused on following your goals, not giving into these demands, okay? So the official person could actually be this mature woman here. So let's take a look. So a helpful and knowledgeable older woman. She can bring happiness. She can be a troublemaker. She can be a female relative. Sometimes she can actually be an ex that's causing trouble. Or an ex, in this particular, this is talking about a woman who could be causing trouble officially here. This can also be someone who is causing trouble for your family. So if we see, there's the other things that we see here that would indicate that this is a troublemaker. Okay, so we'll just keep on looking a little bit further. And it could be that this person is a distance from you because of the journey here. Okay, so this journey here, so travel. So this guy is quite wealthy there. It's time to start or take a leap forward. Leave your old and familiar situation. Something departing for new shores. It may concern your work, your family, or relationship, or maybe it's just time for a trip. Okay, sometimes it's just like you're going to have to, you know, go camping or something like that. It's another image that provides duality. So the scene may depict an arrival, someone coming, maybe the mature woman coming towards you, or you're going to see them as well. Or perhaps you're there to see someone off, or someone's arriving on a journey to see you. You just take it however you feel that it is. But it could be news coming from a distance of this lady, if she's related to you. So let's figure out what so this is the heart of the matter. So tell us more about the official person, please. Okay, this is someone from distant horizons, and you know, this is coming from, and maybe it's just backing up her being a distance away from you. Okay, tell us more about this journey. Okay, marriage. Okay, so we try to keep it like this. Tell us more about this mature woman. Okay, this is loving energy here. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, so this means a couple of things as well. There's love and marriage here at a distant horizon from you. So someone is married or getting married, and they are far from you. You know, you can't walk to their house. That's what that means. Could be someone overseas either as well. And maybe you're officially going to hear about this. Maybe you haven't been told. Maybe people have eloped or something. Okay? And having the lovers come out underneath the mature woman could also indicate that this was someone in a previous relationship. Okay? In this instance, if it's a previous relationship, then use your, you know, if you were in a relationship with a guy, then it's that. If you're in a relationship with a girl, it's that, okay? So, there's something here not being said to you, but it's coming forth anyway, okay? You're going to find this out. And you may feel like you need to get there. Now let's take a look at the poverty consciousness, or the way that you've been feeling. See how the courthouse has come up here. See, there's wealth here. A wealthy man is going to help us get out of our poverty energy and have a voice. Oh God, well, we know what's going on with Twitter, right? But there's something official taking place. Okay, official taking place. Okay, you need to just think of this broadly. Courthouse, you know, back in the day, it would have been a lot different. I mean, only way that people got money back in, you know, the olden days would have been through inheritances, right? So in these cards, there are a lot of court-related cards. So we see this solicitor coming from proceedings with his wig, his white collar, his gown, and it means lawsuits, court proceedings, divorces, wills, contracts, taxes, disputes, all kinds of legal matters. And your solicitor is capable, so the outcome could be good if it's near us. And it definitely is near good cards. So it also refers to negotiations, right? It can also talk about public buildings like City Hall, post offices, the Motor Vehicle Bureau, etc. All legal and notarial matters and decisions. It doesn't necessarily announce a court dispute, but it reflects all decisions, discoveries, and assessments. You could be undergoing a test at work or at home. Could be a test at home. Okay? Could be losing your job and you're contesting it. Okay? It could also just be general transactions and things like that as well. Okay? But the wealthy man coming up here, Okay, so he's the same man that's here on the Journey card, right? He's got all his leather cases and bits and pieces here. But here he is, taking you out of the poverty consciousness. He's in your living room talking with you, like even if you're just talking to your family about someone who's helping, and he does have an official type of capacity. Who could this person be that's helping us, right? If we're looking at this as a message for everyone, it can be about opportunities and chances coming up. It can be about adopting business acumen now and enjoying business success. As we've already said, that's also coming in. This also symbolizes a young and dynamic, wealthy and ambitious man or relative as well. And this could be someone that's coming to see you. There's also some things out, like if this was to come out with falseness or anything like that, then we won't be able to trust this person. But right now, this is in the middle of official documents and official things. There's someone who's really self-made here and really wealthy. They don't care. They don't have the same issues. And we look like we're going to get some help from this person. Okay, we'll just keep on building on this, right? So for some of you, you're going to hear about a wedding at a distance that you didn't know about. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe you weren't invited. In another cases, it's your ex is getting married. And this might affect you because of your children, perhaps. Or maybe you're going to take off on a journey because of this information that's coming in. So let's keep going. What does the distant horizons mean with the official person card? Okay, it's our pathway is about to change over the next 2 years. Okay, look at the light at the end of the tunnel. This is bringing change for us that's peaceful. You see this? Okay. What about the lovers and the marriage here? I mean, some of you are just getting married and that's wonderful. Finding the right person. What about the lovers and the marriage here? Great fortune. In the house. Okay, so the pathway changes. We're able to go and do what we want to do. The information is coming to your home though. Definitely. The wealthy man and the courthouse. What does this bring? Wealthy man first. Oh my. High honor. Everything's going to change. Even the Kip is telling us. And what about the courthouse? Message. That's an official message. This wealthy person has high honors, whoever that is. And opens up an opportunity because it's official. See, it's an official person opening this opportunity for us. Bringing us into love and abundance. And this is a female goddess of prosperity here, Fortunata. And the house. So our house becomes very overrun with love and abundance because that's what we're choosing. This is pretty amazing. Okay, final row, because you don't want to keep going with these. Wow. What else can we be told about our main focus here? The pathway of community. See everybody coming together in a beautiful social. Everyone's happy again, working together. Oh boy. Okay. What about the great fortune in the house? This has to do with the gift. The high honors and the message has to do with child or children. Whoops, I had a couple of cards around the wrong way. Okay. Final message. There is a thief. Okay, there is a thief here. But we come into sudden wealth, everybody. Someone's going, okay, so the wealth comes from someone who's may pass away and leave a will or some kind of inheritance, but at the same time, it's compensation for people that have been this official person who's been showing you this an official person who's also untrustworthy. Community knows it. Okay. So something affecting this official person as well. Something affecting the official person. Wow. So that's the last card over here. Change. One more card over here. Sudden wealth, adjudication. House, signing papers, moving forward. So whoever's stolen from you or betrayed you or hurt you or upset you in your own personal life and also in the grander scheme of things, I feel like there's going to be some kind of karmic situation that takes place here and changes everything that we're doing. There are, you know, there's been so much unfairness in our journey so far, you know, in so many different areas of our life. There's just been so much unfairness, and we're about to see the results of our hard work. We're about to see the results of all of our own vibrations and energies. We're about to see things change and change rapidly, and that it's quite official as it's happening. And you're not to get into this mindset of seeing something and panicking as soon as you see it, because we see how that turns out. It actually turns out in despair, right? So when we're not focusing correctly, we start to see those very things that we don't want. Okay, so it's reminding you of staying, even in dire circumstances, that you're staying in a state of change, that you're moving with the change. And in this card, this person's actually moving, right? And maybe that you didn't think you could move. You know, my husband and I were thinking, well, maybe we'll have to stay here for another 2 years, and just decide that that's what we would do if we have to, and just leave the rest, you know, up to whatever. But it is even relief in just saying that, because it allows the doorway to open, right? All right, final message for the collective. I am using the Fairy Tale Lenormand right now. Okay, so, wow. Kipper cards are pretty much, they're even more to the point than Lenormand cards are. Okay. The reason I have to go is because I cannot sit down for... I mean, I can sit down for some time, but, you know, I just need to move. Okay. I just get so excited doing these readings. Let's figure it all out. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Masculine, feminine, whatever you identify yourself as. Whoever you are, this is your reading. Okay. Here we go. Here's the mountain. Here's the full moon, okay, tomorrow. So we break through this tomorrow. We break through these restrictions. Whoops. Here's the bear. So the bear in the garden is really, really beautiful energy here. Real social, really abundant. Whatever was blocking us is unblocked by this full moon. Okay, so make sure that you're doing releasings as well. Brings us into our choices. We keep on seeing this, and it brings us into our loyalty. It brings us into people we can rely on as we move forward. Messages come about love. You see how that's kind of connected to the Kipper. Messages about a marriage or something. A message about, it could be coming from the youth. It could be coming from your children even, that they're in a relationship suddenly. It just could be the love energy that's around. Yeah, see? Talking about your kids. I feel like there's a connection here with kids making their own choices and making their own way as well. There's the house. There's the information coming from the house. Interesting combination here, because all of the dire trouble that we kept on seeing right at the beginning of the cards in the last few weeks, it's calmed down, hasn't it? If we're looking at it that way. Sometimes people are inheriting things when these two cards are together as well. And you may be the child that's inheriting from your parents or those family members, and you're going to hear about it. Sometimes this is a real estate agent as well. It seems like for a lot of you, the house thing is on your mind. Okay, this is a solid connection here. See? A solid connection with the change. Some of you may be moving to a place that's got a lot of water nearby, or the ocean or a lake or something like that. Some of you may be resisting change because of kids, or for some of you, you're making a decision to move to your forever home. So in this case here, we have Bobby coughing as he's coming through. We have the Tower, and we have a lot of luck in the Tower now. Okay, so something has changed, right? Because we had all this craziness, but we still don't know what's coming underneath. But something has changed with regards, we've got a lot of luck here. So tell us more about this anchor and stalk. There's this healing, information. What about the Tower? About the Tower. Oh, see, there's still trouble at the Tower. But we're pretty lucky because we're going to escape it. Older gentleman. Trouble for the older gentleman in the Tower. Okay. What about the Sky and the Lady? Okay. Alright, we're going to figure out these combinations in just a moment. I'm just going to get these cards out first, because otherwise it's too hard. We can also be talking about religious institutions and something happening there too. Definitely a change, transformational energy. And we go into our sun, see? Gratitude. Our abundance. Snake's rearing its ugly head a little bit. But it brings us into our destiny. There it is. Okay. All right. So there's still some trouble here, but nowhere near the same type of struggles or troubles that we were having. It's like something has changed it all. Yep. There we go. We have our beautiful tree and our ship together. Beautiful energy here. But I'm going to focus back here just a little bit. Okay. All right. So we got the scythe and the whip and the tower together. We also have this changing card right here. All right, we're going to take a quick look at those things. Oh, I threw my Lenormand book somewhere. Ah, it's not the one that I really want. I have this really cool book. Oh, just wait a second. I put it somewhere. And I found it. Alright. So if you want to get a cool book, get the Learning Lenormand book. Okay. So we have the whip. And we have the tower. Once again, it's talking about the army, military base, fortress, and stadium. Maybe we're going to be, I don't know, maybe we're going to be shut down for a little while. Restrained, cancelled, terminated, yeah. See this old person. Restrained, cancelled, terminated. I don't know, it's just something is changing with regards to leadership. It is changing, it is being exposed, it is coming out in the open, they're trying to stop it from happening, they're trying to blame all kinds of other people rather than taking responsibility for themselves, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get away with it, because we succeed, we succeed, because we see things in a much more powerful and spiritual way. We succeed. We are committed to succeeding. We're committed to these changes. We're committed to our health. We're committed to knowledge. We're committed to finding things out. We're not going to just go, okay, yeah, all right, well, okay, we'll just have nothing and you all have everything. Okay? That sounds fair. No, we're not going to do that. And my military family and ancestors won't let that happen for me either. I'll have to stand up for everything that I believe in, and I would in a heartbeat. We're not going to give in to this nonsense, and we really shouldn't. We really have to make a stand with how we see our own lives, where we'd like our children to be able to go in the future, what we want for this planet, for this earth, giving back to the earth, adoring and loving the earth rather than raping and pillaging the earth, out of greed, going back to self-sustaining, growing your own gardens and things like that, and just living your own quiet little life, right? And being allowed to do that if you want to. Some of you will have a mission like mine and you'll just want to share and teach and have your spiritual knowledge and messages coming through. Some people they are so they're so argumentative within themselves, and they're fighting themselves all the time. They believe everybody's against them and the world's against them, and they don't care about anybody else at all other than what they're attaining in a greed sense. For me, attaining things is only to give more, so I can help my brothers and sisters out of light who are struggling, to bring them up to where they want to be and share with them, right? To be able to provide something that was never given in my life from either of my parents. There's nothing handed down by them. Everything that I've done myself is myself, and now my husband and I are finally able to put our energies together. And goodness will prevail. The light already has won, as we've said, and as it's continually shown, I think we're going to be shocked with how things begin to turn. It has to be fair across the board, not just fair when something doesn't suit an agenda. You see? And we're kind of sick of the double standards. And in the United States being last and every other country going first when your own people are suffering. You know, that can't continue because some people won't put up with it. And I feel like, you know, as much as I'm suppressed from saying whatever I want to say in their world, I don't care in my world, you know. And I just want fairness across the board. And spiritually, we have to focus on fairness and strength and minding our own business and going forward with our business. And if people come forward and they want help, we help them, you know, properly. Not this BS, you know, that we've seen since living on this earth. You know, it's like we have to change the way that we heal, change the way that we share, change the way that we work with people, because people have changed. You know, people are now victims of psychological abuse in, you know, at any age that they are. Suddenly it's triggered psychological abuse again. Suddenly we're seeing, you know, people being backtracking to old habits and things just to be able to cope. And I don't think that if you're going to be a leader, you have to look after your people and make sure that they're taken care of first. And whilst it's nice to want to help other countries, you know, how much do you need to give them? You know, for something that, anyway, you need to be giving back to your own people. We all could have been given $1 million by now. The amount of money that's been written up and spent and given over to everybody else. We could have all had $1 million, and what will we do with it? Off we go and buy our lives and start, you know, saving and start feeling the pressure has lifted a little bit, rather than, you know, ridiculous prices and inflation and losses and empty shelves and all this craziness. Oh, but we're just going to give billions overseas. I agree. You know, anyone who's suffering, any country that's suffering, yeah, help them. But do they help you? Does anyone given the United States anything? Has anyone given Australia anything? Do they give money to them? I don't think so. I think they got what is it? Australia got a submarine. What the hell does they need a submarine for? You know, unbelievable. It's all changing anyway. I'm just doing this last final thing. When you work for yourself and you are just trying to help people, this is my theory, and I'm trying to help you to help yourself, okay? And I've been doing this for the longest time, obviously, a really long time now. And my mission is still the same. My mission is to help you, help yourself, and help you to wake up, right? And it has been, honestly, in the last 2 years with all this craziness happening, someone that's giving a good message and someone who's trying to help humanity like I am, and that's not being big-headed, that's just honest, has been so blocked out. You guys don't even see my videos. You tell me all the time, I didn't even know you were live, you know? So you subscribe and you hit a notification bell and you don't get notified. So I have 6 people at a live show out of 40,000 people because nobody's being notified. So it's difficult, and any normal person would have given up what I'm doing by now, but I refuse to because I'm too stubborn. I win my battles. I win as long as, you know, it may take me a while, but I still win, right? Because I'm so determined. There's nothing that will stop me from bringing my messages. So if you're subscribed to me and you don't see my notifications, okay, unsubscribe, subscribe again, and hit the notification bell. Maybe it's like resetting the computer. You turn it off, you turn it on again. Lo and behold, it works. Okay, we have to trick this system. If you love people on YouTube and you want them to stick around and you want them to be there, okay, then you're going to have to help them to survive by also sharing. You know, if you can't see the subscriptions, don't automatically assume I've kicked you out somewhere. I don't do anything like that unless someone is blatantly a jerk in the comments and then they're gone because they're just trolling anyway. If you can't see my stuff, unsubscribe, subscribe again and hit the notification bell and see if you can start seeing my stuff. You know, there's just so many things that we need to keep pushing forth with our spiritual work. And we can't do it if nobody helps us. They just give up on us. And I haven't given up on any of you, you know. So this is what we're doing. We're working with our mind. We're working with our body, our personality. We're looking at life's debts, the things that are in our past, our south node. We're bringing in our desires, what we really want to have happen here. And we're in the beginning and endings, exactly how this full moon is. Absolutely. We're in Gemini's in Mercury retrograde in Gemini, sorry. How I think, our mind, how we think here, messages. And Saturn as well, helping us to see our truth, our potentials. Going into the mysterious a little bit. Sacrificing with Neptune and bringing us into what we have as well. Okay, escaping what's all this mind games that have been going on. Okay, bringing us into our awareness. So once again, I'm offering you all something, a webinar called the Destiny Code, which will be on the 26th. It is something that I'm really guided to do. It is something that I'm not going to reveal everything about it. You're just going to have to turn up and support, which would be wonderful. And obviously I'm still teaching. The Light Leaders Academy is up and going, and there's also payment options that are a lot more stretched out, so you'll have smaller payments. If you've been stuck on payments and you really want to do it, believe me, this will change your entire life. It will heal you. And you have to heal yourself first before you can help anybody else. So this is a very, very powerful course. And of course you get to see me. We do weekly or every 2 weeks, we do catch up on Zoom calls live. Okay. So if you're subscribed and you haven't been getting notifications, I hope that you would now just unsubscribe, subscribe again and hit the notification bell. See if that works. Share this with like-minded souls. And I hope to see you on the next video. And until then, hope you enjoyed. Many blessings. Bye for now. Happy full moon.